Okay, continuing on. He says the Vulgate does not date. Yes, he rebuts my first assertion. Then he does that, which really doesn't mean anything. But I say, if you want verses that prove that the Bible is wrong, 2 Samuel 14:11 or 14:1 and 1 Chronicles 21:1. First one, answer this: how is the Bible given? Okay. And then I say, how is the Bible given to different churches and different people before the printing press was invented? But I ask him this question. But I really want to know: do you think that the Vulgate is more reliable than the 4th century Codex Sinaiticus or the 4th century Codex Vaticanus? Then he comes back with, there is no contradiction between the two verses you cite. The stirring up was not done by God, but by Satan. The fact is that God permitted Satan to do this. And somebody else tries this in another one of my videos, and he was an idiot too, who does not defend his assertion much more than saying that. But I come in, okay, here's my reply to him. No one else, so I don't use punctuation, so I'm kind of writing my text comments like the Greeks wrote the New Testament. Okay, someone else tried that and is not biblically supported. Neither one gives any indication that God allows Satan to. In the first verse, it says, the Lord incited David against them. The second one says, Satan incited David. Okay? I do not see any room for ambiguity there. I don't see any room for interpretation. All you are doing is interpreting and putting your own interpretation into your infallible text. Okay? So, yeah, even the Bible is against you there. Okay? Regarding the Bible, it was not given to. Okay. His response regarding the Bible, it was not given to different churches. Christ founded one church, and it alone has divine authority to preach in his name. That is so stupid. That's probably one of the stupidest things I heard. Catholic Church wrote it and compiled it, the New Testament in its entirety, and selected the Canon infallibly. When reformers said, okay, first of all, before there was a fucking Catholic Church, you have to fucking get this through your thick head. There were small churches set up, okay, even of the proto-Orthodox, okay, even the small Catholic churches. Each of those churches had to get their own Bibles. And each individual who wanted a Bible in that church, how do you think they got that? Huh? Well, I don't know, the Catholic Church just magically went pow and the Bibles were all given to them. No, people copied them. Error got into the Bible. Those errors accumulated throughout the years, okay? We know that because we can look back at the surviving manuscripts and see where the error is. So, you are a fucking idiot. Okay. I'm not gonna read my responses, I'm just gonna read his. But I really, okay, blah blah. More importantly, it comes down to who has authority to define authentic scripture. The answer is the church which Christ founded, the Catholic Church. So you are basically saying here that the church made by humans, even if you think that God, or Jesus made the church, give it to humans, people chose the books of the Bible. People copied the Latin manuscript from the Greek manuscripts. People wrote the Vulgate from these Latin manuscripts. The Greek manuscripts were copied from people. Okay? I am seeing people. People are fallible. I don't see how you can fucking even start to say this shit. Your reasoning is so bullshit. And just to say, well, just because the church says it, you know what? Augustine or whatever his name is, said something about this. It's something like, oh yeah, it's like you worship your religion more than your God, and that's exactly what you do. Come on. 2. Christ and the church are historically attested to. Really? There is abundant primary historical sources for this. No, there are not. Oral testimonies of thousands which have been passed on, eyewitness accounts, gospels, letters, epistles, records, etc., as well as artifacts. Okay, first of all, I'd like to deal pretty much the first fucking word we have outside of the Christian faith is from Pliny the Younger. That is the first word of, that's the first time Jesus' name is mentioned outside the Christian religion. Okay? If Jesus was the Son of God, don't you think there would have been something? Oh wow, this guy knocked over some tables. Wow, this guy did this. This guy fed all these people. Wow, this guy fucking healed a leper. Wow, this guy fucking did this. He affected people. Okay, and not just the people he straight up affected, but people that were around people. Okay, he affected somebody, and you know, rich people who could read and write were around. There is not one word of Jesus after that, other than Pliny the Younger, and Pliny the Younger only says that there are Christians using a house for their worship illegally. And what should I do about it? Okay, I tell him that the thousands of sources is only said by Dan Brown, and Dan Brown is not right. He goes on to say, yes, there's oral traditions, blah blah blah, there's all this stuff. Okay, in fact, oral testimony is considered a primary historical source by historians. Yay! Yay! God, what an idiot. No, you can't go back, and if you can't talk to the primary person from the oral source, then it's not a primary historical source, is it? No. Okay. Let's see, I got 2 minutes left. Dan Brown, again, the sources, okay. Wait, where is that? Okay, I asked him straight up, give me one of these sources that you say attest to Jesus. This is what he says. I do not need to provide a written source from the time of Christ. Oral testimony of thousands of people, which survive today, is also an equally valid primary historical source as well, as the accounts written shortly afterwards. That is like Dumb and Dumber comedy right there. And I don't even think I have to. Okay, the apostles. Okay, I tell them that basically the apostles were first century Coptics. They would have written in Coptic since they were in Palestine. They spoke Aramaic. They would not have written Greek manuscripts. Okay, and even Paul doesn't. It's in his writing that he didn't write his own one. I forget which one it is, but in Galatians it says that he didn't write it himself. He just goes, oh, they were obviously literate, and then he says, well, it says they can speak in tongues and this, and I ask him, look up the synoptic problem. Okay? He says, I don't have to look it up. Right. I don't need to Google the synoptic problem. I am very well aware of the synopticity of the 3 Gospels. There is no problem, and certainly no contradiction.